what it do? Holla at your boy in the live chat. In today's show, we'll be discussing Bitcoin barely holding on to 28,000 as the bulls see a new rejection at this key resistance. Also breaking news, President Bukele has linked his country's growing economy with making Bitcoin legal tender in 2021, as reported by the Financial Times. And quoting Max Kaiser, El Salvador, the safe haven, the safest country in the Americas, safer than even Canada, and probably safer than most Disneyland parks. Preach. Also in today's show, Peru considering a central bank digital currency to improve their payment system, according to the former IMF advisor. We'll also be discussing after bail release, Donald Trump predicts that the US dollar will lose its global dominance. We'll also be discussing Wholecoiner addresses with more than one Bitcoin doubling since 2016. Quoting CZ, there are more than 56 million millionaires in the world and only 1 million people with more than one Bitcoin. Do the math. Also in today's show, the Bitcoin white paper is apparently hiding in Apple's modern Mac operating system. That's right. And quoting CZ again, who is the guy that put the Bitcoin white paper on every Mac? I want to buy him a drink in person. We'll also be discussing latest Bitcoin price data suggests a double top above $200,000 in 2025. That's right. I'll be breaking down this price prediction by crypto analyst Filbfilb. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more in today's show. And welcome everyone just tuning in. This is podcast episode number 1243. I'm your host, JV, and today is April 6th, 2023. Checking out the market watch right here. As you can see on your screen, we got Bitcoin back in the green. Let's go. Hovering above 28,100, but barely in the green for the day. We have Ethereum negative 1.3%, trading back under 1900 after hitting a 7-month high. We have Dogecoin down 5%, trading at roughly 9 cents as BNB and XRP are also in the green. And checking out coinmarketcap.com, we got the crypto market cap just under $1.2 trillion with about 39 billion in volume. But the past 24 hours, the Bitcoin dominance on the rise at 45.8% and the Ether dominance at 19% even. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers in the past 24 hours, Maker leading the pack up almost 6%, trading at $721, followed by Neo up 5.5%, trading at $12.53, followed by INJ up 5.6%, trading at $5.63. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers for the past week, we got a mixture of red and green with XEC up 5.3%, Neo up 5.6%, and INJ up 6%. And checking out the crypto greed and fear index, one of my favorite indicators, shows we're currently rated a 63 in greed. Yesterday a 62, last week a 60, and last month a 49, which is neutral. So there you have it. And welcome again to everyone just tuning in. Now let's dive into today's Bitcoin technical analysis and check out the charts and see what's happening. Bitcoin saw another failure to exit a tight trading range into April 6th as 28,000 again hung in the balance, as you can see here in the Bitcoin 1-hour candle chart. Data from Cointelegraph Markets Pro and TradingView showed Bitcoin trading below the $28,000 mark just earlier, but now we're just above. Now, Bitcoin approached 29,000 the day prior, eating into ass liquidity in what analysts call the choreographed move by the whales. That's right, that appeared to be true as upward momentum soon faded and spot price remained in an increasingly narrow range, and the cloud of liquidity around 30,000 thus remained untested, much to the frustration of those hoping for an easy continuation of the 2023 upside. And in a follow-up commentary, Monitoring Resource Material Indicators noted that traders have moved bid and ask liquidity towards each other, compressing the likely zone of the movement for the spot price. Quoting him here, liquidity dampens volatility. Fire chart shows both size seem to be moving Bitcoin liquidity closer to the active trading zone, effectively compressing the range. Gaps that don't get filled or defended with the buy-sell walls are prone to be exploited, and yes, that means both. So considering what the result of the current price action might be on the short time frames, Analytic Resource SKU devised the following two outcomes. Quoting him here, Bitcoin on the 4-hour, not much change, still crabbing in the tight 4-hour range. Price struggling to sustain above the 1-day range high usually implies one of two outcomes. Number one, grind with the EMA trend and hold the 4-hour range low, or two, bleed towards the 1-day range low and breakdown occurs there. So let me know if you agree or disagree with the analysis. And zooming out, meanwhile, trader and analyst Rec Capital eyed the trip to 27,000 as a potential signal that a long-term double top formation is underway. Quoting him here, recent Bitcoin rejection from the double top resistance means Bitcoin can still drop here to complete the second part of the formation. He tweeted alongside, generally, double tops resemble an M shape so that the second part of the pattern would form with a drop, and he's ultimately hinting at a 27,000 price action, which you can see here in the blue. Others remain overall optimistic about Bitcoin's path for the coming year. After such a strong start, we have Credible Crypto, who doubled down on his prediction that Bitcoin would set a new all-time high this year in 2023, quoting him here, a dip to 23 to 25, which I have been talking about for weeks, doesn't change any of that. It is nothing to be concerned about. It's a part of the recent commentary. And also we have other bulls calling for 200,000, which I'm going to be sharing with you a little later here in the show. And President Bukele has linked his country's growing economy with making Bitcoin legal tender in 2021. And I love Max's response here. El Salvador, the safe haven, the safest country in the Americas, safer than even Canada and probably safer than most Disneyland parks. You can say that again, especially considering we just, as I reported in yesterday's episode, the Cash App founder was stabbed to death in San Francisco, one of the major cities, obviously in the United States. So, I mean, El Salvador does seem to be a safer place to be because guess what? It's a Bitcoin standard. Fiat breeds corruption and violence and is a damn shame to say the least, but it is what it is. Now let's discuss what's happening in Peru with CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. The Central Bank of Peru has published a paper that it said will be the first in a series to examine the need, design, and timing of the Peruvian central bank digital currency, reported John Kiff, research director of the Sovereign Official Digital Association. His report concentrates on issues related to retail, CBDC. The status quo of competing payment systems in Peru is untenable, the CBRP wrote. With the introduction of a CBDC combined with new policies to improve the access of interoperability of existing systems, which would help the central bank overcome barriers to financial inclusion and lower the cost of transactions, according to the report, quoting it here, the objective of a CBDC within the framework of the payment system in Peru is to give the unbanked population access to digital payments. So it is important to know their characteristics to prepare an implementation strategy. I mean, nothing is banking the unbanked better than Bitcoin. CBDCs can try, but we all know it's ultimately the enslavement of humanity. Peru has serious obstacles to overcome. About half their country's population is unbanked, so it sounds like Bitcoin is the solution. 3/4 of the unbanked live in non-poor households, but almost 79% of them have zero savings. They live mainly in urban areas, and almost all of them work informally. Almost all the unbanked have mobile phones, so let's go Bitcoin. Nonetheless, the use of digital payments in Peru has increased fivefold since 2015, as reported right there. Now, the current report marked the end of the first step out of 5 steps in the potential production of a CBDC. The report said no timeline for CBDC development was mentioned. The CBRP also released a 25-question survey of potential users, which is due at the end of this month, April 30th. Peru has also received technical resistance in the creation of the report from the International Monetary Fund, better known as the IMF, under an agreement reached in May of 2021. CBRP president announced in November of 2021 the country would cooperate with India, Singapore, and Hong Kong to develop a central bank digital currency. Now, the SODA is a technology agnostic firm that provides advisory services on central banking, digital finance, and the Web3 industry. KIF is a former IMF section expert. Well, we all know this. I mean, Bitcoin is the antidote to the central bank digital currencies, so just say no to CBDCs. And with that, now for some breaking news of what's going on with Trump, and he issued an alert that the US dollar is going to lose its global current world reserve currency status, which obviously is a big deal. Former U.S. President Trump had some fierce words for the Biden administration and its management of the currency shortly after being arrested on Tuesday. The ex-president predicted that the U.S. dollar will likely lose its status of the world reserve currency as it continues to collapse. Trump turned himself into the authorities on Tuesday afternoon after being indicted on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records last Thursday. The billionaire was allegedly involved in making hush money payments to porn star Stormy Daniels, attempting to conceal the affair ahead of his 2016 presidential election. What about Mr. Bill Clinton? Didn't he receive fellatio in the White House by what's her name? Monica Lewinsky? Whatever happened to that? Yeah, I mean, he got away with that, but not Trump. After pleading not guilty to all the charges in a Manhattan court shortly before 3:30 Eastern, Trump returned to his Mar-a-Lago club in Florida and delivered a fiery speech in which he aired grievances, denied claims against, and blasted his political opponents. Quoting him here, "We are a nation in decline, and now these radical left lunatics want to interfere in elections by using law enforcement," he said. He tied in the claims that the 2020 U.S. presidential election was rigged, which we all know, against him, and promises to make America great again despite the very dark cloud hanging over the country. And amongst those claims were predictions of doom for the worldwide supremacy of the U.S. dollar, pitting the nation's record high inflation and recent bank failures on the Biden administration. Quoting him here, "Our currency is crashing and will no longer be the world standard, which will be our greatest defeat. Frankly, in 200 years," he said, "that will take us away from being even a great power." Ain't telling no lies. The Fed rapidly tightened its benchmark interest rate last year to quell inflation that peaked as high as 9.1% in June of 2022. This followed a 2-year period of record lows of 0.25% interest rates that began under the Trump administration. Though some believe that prolificate spending from the Biden administration also contributes to the soaring prices. Bitcoin supportive Republican Senator Cynthia Lummis had previously blamed inflation and compounding government debt on irresponsible fiscal policy from both political parties. Thank God for Bitcoin and other digital currencies that transcend the irresponsibility of governments, including our time. Preach. Now, while bearish on the US dollar, that doesn't mean that Trump is bullish on Bitcoin, so do note that. He has repeatedly blasted it and other cryptos as scams that should be regulated so they do not take the edge off of the dollar and the importance of the dollar. But with that said, Trump seemingly has no problem with NFTs, though, which both he and his wife have raised money by launching their own personalized collections. And after his arrest, the sales of the former president's digital art quickly multiplied, as I covered here on the show. So yeah, I mean, the death of the dollar, we've seen this coming for a long time. Max Kaiser has been reporting on this for the past decade with Stacey Herbert. So this isn't nothing new to us, but I mean, this is finally the mainstream admitting the collapse of the dollar, and we're actually witnessing it firsthand in real time. Now let's discuss our next breaking story of the day, and that's Wholecoiners doubling since 2016. Where my Bitcoin Wholecoiners at? Make some noise in the live chat. According to on-chain analytics provider Glassnode, there are almost 1 million addresses holding more than one Bitcoin. So shout out to all my Wholecoiners. Furthermore, the number of Wholecoiner addresses has doubled since around mid-2016. Let's go. It plateaued at just over 800,000 addresses during the last cycle peak, but has increased during the cycle bottom of late 2022 and into 2023 as investors continue to accumulate. This statistic is remarkable because there are more than 56 million millionaires in the world. However, with Bitcoin trading at 28,000, it'll be quite some time before one coin will make a hodler a millionaire. But lo and behold, it's inevitable. So be patient, young Jedi. Binance CEO CZ, who has been a victim of fake news this week, made the observation on the 6th, quoting here on crypto Twitter, there are more than 56 million millionaires in the world, and only 1 million people with more than one Bitcoin. Do the math. And that's a fact, fam. So there can only be so many Bitcoin millionaires. So get to it. Now, another observation crypto advocates like to make is dividing the total supply of Bitcoins by the world's population. This works out to around 0.002 Bitcoin per person. So those holding more than one coin are a rarity. So you're a true gem and you're a winner. That's right. The scarcity of the asset with its finite supply has traditionally been a driver of demand. This has been cleverly evident in the previous cycles, which are catalyzed by the halving events. The next Bitcoin halving is due 1 year from now, depending upon what the counter is referenced. The current block reward of 6.25 BTC will be halved to 3.125 BTC, decreasing the issuance and making the asset even scarcer. Bitcoin markets have already reached a transition of inflection point, as reported by Crypto Potato. The slow grind higher likely continue this year if history rhymes. And if it doesn't rhyme, doesn't repeat, it often rhymes, right? The real bull rally should follow the halving event and occur in the latter half of 2024 if the previous cycles are anything to go by, which they absolutely are. Glassnode just added that the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index to its charts to a certain market sentiment and compared its previous peaks and troughs. The sentiment is currently in a state of greed following Bitcoin's 25% gain over the the past month. Quoting Glassnode, we have recently added the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, which is now firmly within greed territory. Will this rally push Bitcoin into extreme greed like 2019 and 2021, or be overwhelmed by resistance like March of 2020 or the 2022 deleveraging? Let me know your thoughts in the comments right down below. And now let's jump to our next story of the day, breaking news on everyone's mind. And that means even the haters of Bitcoin who are using Apple computers have the Bitcoin white paper on their Apple device. How freaking cool is that, right? This was storming all across crypto Twitter just yesterday. Satoshi's original white paper laying out the Bitcoin network is seemingly hiding within every modern version of the operating system for Apple's Mac computers. That's right. How many of you are using a Mac? Let me know. On April 5th, blog post from technologist Andy Bio, he revealed that a PDF of the Bitcoin white paper has apparently shipped with every single copy of the Mac operating system since Mojave in 2018. He told Cointelegraph that he was just trying to fix my printer and scan a document with a wireless scanner when a device called Virtual Scanner 2 appeared, and he'd never seen it before. By default, Virtual Scanner 2 showed a photo, but when Bio changed the media type from photo to document, Nakamoto's white paper appeared, which you can see right here on your screen. Quoting him here, "I wasn't looking for the Bitcoin paper," he exclaimed. "I was just trying to fix my printer." Hilarious, right? Now, in his post, he also said there's virtually nothing about this online. He shared a November 2020 Twitter thread from designer Joshua Dickens, who also found the white paper, which Bio used to find the file location as outlined right here. Quoting Josh, "Weirdly, there's also a PDF of the original Bitcoin white paper. Do you think that's a coincidence? I think not." Now, we also created a prompt to use in the terminal, a command line interface for Mac operating system, so others can bring up the white paper easily. I started asking other Mac using friends if they could confirm, and all of them could, he said. The prompt was successfully opened in Bitcoin white paper on 3 different Apple Mac devices that were tested. In the blog post, he claimed that the file is found on every version of the Mac OS from Mojave 10.14 to the current version Ventura, but isn't in High Sierra 10.13 or earlier. Now, it's unknown by Nakamoto's white paper, shipped with modern versions of the Mac operating system, and speculated in his post that it was just a convenient, lightweight, multi-page PDF for testing purposes, never meant to be seen by the end users. But we all know that Steve Wozniak is definitely bullish on Bitcoin, as he has said in many interviews. So this is very interesting, and much respect to Apple, as it seems there's Bitcoiners walking amongst all of us in this world, and you got to love it and you got to respect it. Now, CZ says, "Who is the guy that put the Bitcoin white paper on every Mac? I want to buy him a drink in person. Cheers. Let's get it." And now for the moment we have all been waiting for. Before we dive into the live Q&A, let's break down this $200,000 Bitcoin price prediction, shall we? Bitcoin is still on track to hit 180,000 in its next halving cycle, says a longtime market participant in a new analysis published on March 3rd. Filbfilb, co-founder of trading suite DecenTrader, doubled down on his bullish Bitcoin price outlook for the years ahead. With Bitcoin approaching 30,000, traders are highly suspicious of the 2023 rally. Sky-high Bitcoin price predictions have been poorly received. 2 current 1 million forecasts from ARK Invest CEO Cathie Wood, as well as the newer one from former Coinbase executive Balaji, respectively, continue to divide opinion in the aftermath of the 2022 crypto winter. So considering whether either has merit, Filbfilb turned to raw math to determine some likely macro tops and bottoms for Bitcoin after its next block subsidy halving, and due at the end of the March of next year. The halving will again cut the block reward paid to miners by 50%. In prior 4-year cycles after the previous halving, Bitcoin displayed patterns of behavior that continue to hold true even today. Quoting him here, "When using days from the Bitcoin halving where the inflation rate of new Bitcoins is halved, we can see that Bitcoin peaks at around 368 to 550 days post-halving and then bottoms 779 to 914 days post-cycle." So generating a so-called price curve, his analysis shows that it may be possible to get a rough idea of where Bitcoin will top and bottom in the coming halving cycles. Quoting him again, "By combining expected halving dates and days to cycle tops and cycle bottoms alongside extrapolated regression of price data, it is possible to use this model in predicting where Bitcoin price may reside at the peak and trough of future cycles," which he puts alongside this chart. So thus in line with 2013, 2017, 2021, 2025 should see a double top setup in which Bitcoin peaks above $200,000 twice. Full send. Let's go. The corresponding bear market low a year later centers at around 50,000 according to the calculations. How many of you wouldn't mind a $50,000 bottom with a 200,000 plus cycle top? Holla at your boy. While acknowledging that price volatility and relative blow-off top trajectory will decrease over time, Filbfilb reasons that the overall global trends towards digital stores of value will aid the Bitcoin bulls, but nonetheless, for his part, he believes that the next cycle will bring a slightly lower high than the numbers suggest at around 180,000 already in play since February. Quoting him again here, I recently stated $180,000 is the target next cycle, and I will stick to that for now, he concluded. So there you have it. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree with Filbfilb's 200,000 or 180,000 bullish price prediction by 2025, and with 50,000 being the cycle bottom. Let me know in the comments below. Keep it in mind, the halving is literally 1 year away. Are you pretty ecstatic? Let me know in the comments. And now let's do some live Q&A, and welcome to everyone in the live chat. As always, I appreciate each and every one of y'all. SpongeBob SquarePants, welcome. And what a cool name. Bring Facts, welcome. Selling with Twins, Megadon, welcome. Good to see y'all. I'm going to scroll to the top. Dan Drummond, Barry, Coinfather, Shank, and Back. Good morning to y'all as well. Appreciate y'all's support and for tuning in live. TJ Mooney, good to see you as well. Jeremy Amos, good to see you as well. Good Thursday morning, JV, into the fam. Appreciate that. SpongeBob, got the right day today. Absolutely, fam. Bring it. Yeah, man, this is cool. There are more than 56 million millionaires in the world and only 1 million people with more than one Bitcoin. Do the math. I mean, that means if you're a hodler of Bitcoin, you're already ahead of the curve. You got yourself a head start. TJ says, tell everyone you care about to acquire as many Satoshis as possible, while uneducated people will accept dollars for them. Facts, like the United States government. While people like Michael Saylor continue to accumulate and buy that freaking dip. As I reported yesterday, he just purchased another huge batch of Bitcoin, something roughly like a $29 million purchase. So they now hold 140,000 plus Bitcoin on their balance sheet, which is a pretty big deal. And I hope many other countries follow in their footsteps. I divided my first whole coin into 100 Ballot Pure Series wallets. Now that's Bobby Lee's wallet that he created, right? I've interviewed Bobby Lee here on the show, brother of Thomas Lee, the guy who created Litecoin, one of the founders. I thought that was kind of cool. So he's ultimately saying, TJ here, that he is a Wholecoiner, but he created 100 wallets within his wallet because you can create infinite amount of wallets. And then he put a fraction of each Bitcoin into each wallet, which I think is like 0.01 Bitcoin. Pretty cool strategy. And thank you for sharing. Dan says, Craig Wright tweeted that Apple is in copyright violation. Go ahead and sue Apple. Yeah, best of luck with that. You know, one of the most successful companies in the world. Plenty of lawyers on staff, so I don't think they're going to fear fake Toshi whatsoever. You know what I mean? Yeah, so good stuff. The dollar will hyperinflate Bitcoin to the moon. I agree 100%, SpongeBob. It's only a matter of time. We're actually witnessing it happen in real time. I mean, go to the store. It's crazy, the price. Like, I was at a store at the mall the other day, and like a pencil was $7. I'm like, how is this pencil $7? I remember when I was a kid, you get a package of pencils for like 99 cents. It's just insanity. We're witnessing hyperinflation in real time. TJ says people in Venezuela and Turkey used to say, I can't wait until Bitcoin is $1 trillion. Then it became a reality, and I guarantee no one swapped their Satoshis for any. Facts. I mean, it's happening in other countries, and it's happening now in the United States. Maybe a matter of time before there's $1 trillion USD banknote with Janet Yellen's face on it. Real talk. You know what I mean? Hey, West Coast Satoshi Flip, it is good to see you. Uber Hodler says Bitcoin God candle is imminent. God bless. Send that God candle already, shall we? I'd love to see a $10,000 daily candle as just a regular thing. You know what I mean? Mark, good morning to you as well. KB, good morning. Latest Bitcoin data suggests after raising the debt ceiling to $64 trillion, threatening national security, Bitcoin above 3.75 million in 2025. I'd love that. Let's get to a 400. Just in celebration of 420, I'd love to see a $420,000 Bitcoin price by 2025. I think we can do it. Just hold on to those Satoshis. Doesn't it make sense to own at least one? Absolutely. If you're not stacking, I mean, what are you doing with your life? You know what I mean? Ellen, good morning. Let's go. Don Drake, good morning. Good to see you as well. Good morning. Happy Thankful Thursday. Blessings, my brother. Thank you, Steve Nikon, and happy belated birthday. I saw it was your birthday the other day, and I didn't get a chance to reach out, so I appreciate you tuning in live. So happy birthday. Everyone show him some birthday love in the comments. Bitcoin Maximus, good morning. Selling with Twins, always a pleasure. All good, Ellen. Yeah. Damn, I should have sold my Doge at the top. What did we hit? Like 10 cents? Something like that. But the only reason Doge pumped was Elon unexpectedly changed the logo of Twitter from the bird, the blue bird. Now we got to look at freaking the Doge logo every time I log on to Twitter, which makes me not want to log into Twitter as much. Just being real. I hate that thing. I hate seeing the Doge logo every time I log into Twitter. But that's just me. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe you guys like that. Damn, I should have sold. Yeah, I mean, hey. You know what I mean? Good, great to be home. Welcome back. Welcome home. Megadon, good morning and welcome. Anything happening, fam, besides the death of the dollar? Yeah, I mean, lots are always happening. By the minute. Every time I refresh Twitter, there's new breaking news, and that's why I do a show every single day. There's just so much to cover, and only so much I can actually cover. You know what I mean? In a 20-minute, 30-minute episode, maybe 40 minutes with the Q&A. I really need to learn to speak Spanish. El Salvador is looking better every day. Facts, Shank. I mean, seems to be the place to be, right? IMF will be funding Peru CBDCs. Peru will continue to be poor if the IMF is involved. Facts. Don't trust the IMF. I don't trust the central bank digital currencies. I don't trust the central banks or anyone involved with them. You know what I mean? We trust in Bitcoin because we trust in mathematics. Yes, the government will get rich with the CBDC. Of course. Whoever controls the money controls the people. Of course, the government wants to maintain their control because they realize that they're losing control with crypto, and especially with Bitcoin being a decentralized crypto where they have no one to go after. They can't stop it. You know what I mean? Why do you think Biden wants a CBDC? Biden, that's hilarious. Yeah, man. I mean, it is what it is. Go Trump, says Selling with Twins. Ellen says, I wouldn't want to be in any Democrat rhino when Trump returns before 2024. Look like at his EO of September 13th, 2018. I can care less about the hush money to porn stars. Same here. I can care less as well. Let the man live his life. No one bothered Bill Clinton, did they? No one bothers Biden with having relationships with children, do they? You see the interactions of Biden with children? It's disgusting. I think he needs to be investigated ASAP, if you're to ask me. Not Trump. I'm in a club with 7 million seats total possible. How many people on the planet? Boom. I mean, I think there's roughly maybe 8 billion people. I could be wrong. Maybe 7 billion. Just ballpark. CZ is cool, but I took my crypto off of Binance. Now on SafePal hard wallet. Word up. Very well done. And I'm glad you brought that up. I don't care what exchange you're using. It could be the top exchange in the world, Binance. It could be the top exchange in the United States, Coinbase. It could be the top ones, Gemini, Kraken, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Nothing is safe because when you keep your crypto on these exchanges, you don't control it no more. Basically the exchange owns your crypto. They have the private keys to your crypto once it's on their exchange. So the smartest thing you can do, especially during times of tribulation like this, where there's attacks and choke points from regulators going after all these exchanges like they are right now with CZ, take your crypto off the exchanges. Don't worry about staking. Some of you are so concerned over a 5% staking reward when you can just put it in cold storage and now you have no risk of it being confiscated or stolen or hacked or something of this nature. You know what I mean? So I think the safe bet is to just self-custody your crypto. If you have no knowledge on self-custody, do some research. Spend a few hours learning about it. Trezor is a great device. A Ledger Nano is a great device. These are cold storage wallets which are proven, which have been around for a very long time, that make your crypto safe. So I love hearing that you have your crypto safeguarded in a SafePal hard wallet. Much respect, and thanks for sharing. You know what I mean? I asked 3 CEOs the same question, and CZ at Binance is the only one who answered me, and he answered right away on Twitter. CZ seems to be the real deal. To me, it's sad that the regulator's now targeting him, right? Because after SBF and the collapse of FTX, they were all pointing fingers at Binance because they wanted to go after them. They wanted to shake down this juggernaut who is ultimately the largest exchange in the world. And they seem to be doing that right now. And it's a damn shame, but it is what it is. I mean, sold Tesla, MicroStrategy, and Square for Bitcoin. HODL Bitcoin, 1 Bitcoin equals 1 Bitcoin. Facts, Megadon, and glad to hear that, fam. Keep stacking them stats. Bring facts. Future Currency says, and Mike, we trust. Jeff says, work is calling, have to run. Well, I appreciate you tuning in, Jeff. Enjoy your day at work. Does this mean we'll be woofing each other instead of tweeting each other? Woof, woof. Yeah, right? No longer a tweet. Tweets don't make sense. I guess we're now woofing each other, which doesn't sound right either. Craig Wrong is claiming to be Satoshi, yet can't move a single Satoshi. Hashtag liar. Exactamundo. Glad you point that out. We've been using Cash App since 2016, I believe. That's what's up, Steve. Cash App is a great way to buy Bitcoin as well. I could recommend it. Sad news, as reported yesterday, the founder of Cash App was stabbed to death in San Francisco, California at 2:30 a.m. Was this an inside hit? What do you guys think? Let me know. Just sad to see, so be safe out there, fam. I use XSEC on ICE. Nate says a question, will self-custody, if done for years, is there a risk that the technology will become outdated and we risk not being able to access our cold stored coins? Great question. I'm not an expert at cold wallet devices. I just know, I've been using them for a very long time. I've never had any problems. Can something potentially happen? I don't know. I like to say no, but I can't say no because I don't know. So if somebody has any clarity for that question, it's a very valid question. And I'm glad you asked it, Nate. What would happen? Let's say if Ledger or Trezor go out of business, they're no longer here tomorrow, and we have our crypto on one of these devices. Are we still able to send it? We should be able to, but can someone confirm this? Let me know. I think it's a great question for topic. A conversation. Mike Wells says Binance exposed FTX. That's why they're after them. Exactly. I agree 100%. SpongeBob says, Nate, there is with altcoins like ETH too many hard forks. Not with Bitcoin because Bitcoin is backwards compatible. Well, thank you for sharing that, SpongeBob. Good insights. And thank you and good morning to everyone tuning in. When did that happen to the Cash App? Just the other day, fam. It just happened. I reported on it yesterday, so it may have happened the previous day, probably within the past 48 hours. I know it was 2:30 a.m. Someone stabbed him to death in San Francisco. I don't know if it was random coincidence or if it was an inside hit. As we know, many crypto influencers have been being murdered, including many billionaires. It happened a lot last year in 2022, so you can't put nothing past them. He lied. Bob Clinton lied. Bob Clinton. Yeah. Who's to sue Apple? The CEO of Bitcoin? Exactly. Consensual sex in the Oval Office is not a crime. Boom. There you have it. What about people with more than one wallet with extra Bitcoin? So yeah, you make a great point. A lot of people probably have multiple Bitcoin wallets, people who are Wholecoiners. So it's probably even less people who are actually Wholecoiners. You know what I mean? Because, for example, there could be someone with 100 Bitcoin that has 100 Bitcoin in 100 different wallets. Counting as 100 different people, but it's really one individual with 100 different wallets who are diversifying their holdings potentially. You know what I mean? So that's a good question. I bought 3 dozen brown eggs at $3.99. It used to be $1.67. Well, here, when I go to buy brown eggs in Puerto Rico, it's like $9.99. So consider yourself lucky because eggs are not that cheap here. You know what I mean? Especially if you want organic. Not cheap whatsoever. Yeah. You're right, JV. Thank you, Ellen. Appreciate that. Bring facts coincidentally. Yeah, I don't believe in coincidences, fam. You already know. Do we think Bitcoin will have a small pullback here near term, maybe to 25 or so, and then possibly rally after that? Very good probability of that happening. A small pullback, always expected. It happens all the time. It seems 30, or what did we hit? 29.2 is the current high for this year. It seems that 29.30 is a pretty strong resistance. We need to flip that into support. Can I expect a 26,000 correction before surging above 30? Very possible. Do I know for a fact that will? No, I have no clue. We can just pump, for all I know, to 30,000 by the end of tomorrow or by the end of the weekend. Nobody knows. Can we correct to? Yeah. But small corrections kind of, It seems 28,000 is holding strong though, so I would not be surprised if we continue to maintain this range and pump. But at the same time, always be prepared for a pullback, because if there is a pullback, what are you going to do, fam? BTFD, buy that freaking dip. You feel me? Yeah, the Trezor is open source, so you can just transfer to a different wallet if it goes belly up. Thank you, SpongeBob. I love to hear that. There's a reason I love the Trezor. It's my favorite Bitcoin wallet. If I haven't shared that before, it absolutely is. And as just confirmed by SpongeBob, it's open source, so you shouldn't have to worry about the technology becoming obsolete or something of that nature. Your Bitcoin shall be safe. Uber Hodler, make sure it's a mycelium wallet. Nate, there is an altcoins like ETH, too many hard forks. But yeah, good stuff. Yeah. Wow, those are pricey. Yeah. Food is like pretty expensive here on the island, maybe because a lot of stuff is imported, but you would think eggs wouldn't need to be imported because plenty of chickens on the island, right? But it is what it is. Crazy, right? How does the mycelium wallet differ from Trezor? There's a lot of different wallet, obviously, options out there, so do note that too. So when I always quote Trezor, it's because I have personal experience using it. I think it's the first wallet I've ever used as far as cold storage wallets, and I'm a big fan of it. I think it's a great wallet. I've never had any problems. I love using it. I think it's great. But yeah, there's probably 100 other alternative options nowadays because there's a lot of different competition over the past few years that have came out. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of different options for wallets on your phone or on a device. I always say that a cold storage wallet, we call it cold storage because it can't be hacked because it's not online. You know what I mean? So I think cold storage devices such as a Trezor are going to be superior to any computer wallet. Because if someone hacked your computer, theoretically, they can hack your crypto. Maybe not so easily. I understand there's passwords, there's maybe added layers of security or protection. But if someone can hack your computer, they can probably hack that wallet and steal your crypto. And it's not that difficult to hack a computer. It happens all the time, probably every single day, right? Maybe not necessarily your computer, but there's a lot of scams out there, so you can't be too careful. If you put it on a Trezor device and you put that baby somewhere, and you just make sure you have the private keys in case it got stolen or if there was a fire and it burned, you're safe. Also, you can remember your passphrase recovery seed. Typically, it's 24 words. And if you can remember that, you can travel anywhere in the world without a device and have your crypto in your brain and it becomes unconfiscatable. There's power in that. You can't do that with gold, fam. Try. Good luck. That gold bar will get confiscated at the airport, guaranteed. I'm sure it was random mugging. Give me your cash. Sure, I can scan your code. Just let me see your phone. Stab. Be careful, fam. There are egg farms, turkey farms, and lots of farmer markets. Word up. I'm back. Buy eggs from your neighbors. Word up. I remember when I lived in Costa Rica, we used to buy eggs from the local farm. It was great. They just delivered to your door, kind of like the milkman back in the day. Doesn't get any fresher than that. You know what I mean? It's the chicken feed, JV. It's super expensive. Word? Crazy. Use the hidden wallet on Trezor, extra security. That's right. You can create an extra wallet, passphrase protected. So if someone robbed you or put a gun to your head and said, log into your wallet, let me see, you can log into your wallet. And there could be a zero balance in the main wallet because you can basically do what he just said, have a hidden wallet, password protected, that they would never be able to access. So there's a lot of good security features with using the Trezor, and another reason I highly recommend them. You know what I mean? Thank you for reminding me, Sponge. Trezor, NanoS, and others, it's the access point of the cold wallet, that technology compatibility that I wonder about. Safe in cold storage, but need to access it at some point. That's right. 100%. Spot on. You know what I mean? Oh man, let's not make this a political show. So much of that out there already. Are you feeling like it's a political show? I felt like we've been focused on crypto and Bitcoin 99, maybe 95% of the time, minus the Trump story. But that Trump story is relevant because even the former president is predicting the collapse of the US dollar, saying, it's doomed. So take that for what it's worth, fam. Hopefully you got some value out of this. And now let's recap with the big finish of what I shared with you here in today's show. We discussed the latest technical analysis as Bitcoin barely holds on to 28,000 as the bulls see a new rejection as key resistance. I also shared that Peru is considering a CBDC, central bank digital currency, to improve their payment system as per the former IMF advisor. We also discussed breaking news with Trump predicting the US dollar will lose its global dominance. We also discussed the fact that Wholecoiner addresses with more than one Bitcoin have doubled since 2016. And we also shared that the Bitcoin white paper is apparently on the majority of Apple Mac operating systems, which is pretty cool. That means even Elizabeth Warren has the Bitcoin white paper on her Mac computer. How cool is that? Also in today's show, we discuss Filbfilb's $200,000 Bitcoin price prediction, predicting a double top in 2025 with a low of $50,000 for the next cycle. But where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go next? Let me know in the comments